welcome. I'm Daniel G. Garza, and this is Richard Wayne Kilgo II. And welcome to another episode of Zodiacs. We were off for a couple of weeks just for different reasons and motives and such, but we're back. Happy Friday. It is Friday, March 10th. 10th. Yeah, Friday, March 10th. It sounded wrong in my head, but how are you?
I am good. I can't believe it's Friday again already. And I would like to say I am loving the weather, even though it's crazy how much rain we're getting right about now.
Right?
Better, better when you're at home.
Yeah, and I had stuff this morning that I was running around town, not too far. I went to Costa Mesa and Irvine, uh, but I was so ready to come home. There was okay, so the meeting that I went to, they gave us lunches, sandwiches from what's that sandwich soup place?
Togo's sandwich and soup.
I'll remember in a minute. Um, but all I could think about was coming home tonight and making a bowl of ramen and eating my sandwich, like a soup and salad. I mean, a soup and
hmm That
sandwich.
sounds so good.
And I was like, that's what I'm having for dinner. That's what I'm having for dinner. Um, well, we already got people on waiting, which is really cool. But before we get started, I have a special announcement. Da-da-da! First of all, I'm wearing my Little Mexican Productions shirt, sweatshirt, which is so warm. But for everybody who has been on this wonderful journey with me, with my deck of cards and my uh, spiritual life coaching career and creating my deck of cards, I have some wonderful news, and you saw it here first. They're here. The alignment cards are here, and on this is the box and my logo, which I am so happy about. And it's got on the side spirit, mind, and body. And then there's some
So
information
cool.
back with my email, my website. And here it is, the official alignment deck. All the colors. And we actually, instead of pink, because for those of you who remember, had pink, but nope, they're actually white now in the back. It's got my logo on the back, which I'm so excited about. And okay, so remember I kept talking about English and Spanish. This is the really cool part. So, ta-da! It is right there, foundation, root. But then, wait a minute, hold that up, flip it over, en español. What?
That's
So
so awesome.
not only do you get them in English, but you get them in Spanish too, which is really amazing. And these are the cards I'm going to put my original prototype deck up safe, keep it safe so that it doesn't have to be used anymore. But it will always be. And oh shoot! Now what? Panera, that's the place. Panera. I was like,
Oh, I should have known. That makes so much sense.
as Charlie or Dawes said, Subway. I'm like, no, not Subway. Panera. That's who they bring lunch from. So we got lunch from Panera, and I don't even know what the box. I just wasn't happy. And then this morning I had a presentation, and it went so beyond well. And then while I was in the meeting, in the second meeting, usually FedEx just buzzes in by themselves, but they called me to let them in, and I can do it from my cell phone. And something just deep inside was like, those are my cards. Like, those are my cards. And I wasn't expecting them till next week. So, but they're here. So they're not
That's awesome.
yet. They're not for sale yet. I have to create the website to make sure that we can do it right. And then I'll be in New Orleans in May at a conference promoting them there. So just hold on, folks. They'll be for sale soon. But yay, that's today. So anyway, back to you. I forget we have a co-host. Do you have anything to share today or any of your astrology stuff?
So for astrology today, just kind of speaking about the overall influence and from the readings that I've done recently this past week, there's definitely been a clearer message of us using this time in Pisces while we still have it. We still have about a week and a half left. Um, Using this to kind of look back over the last 11 months of that's been happening. What are the wins? What are the things that challenged you the most? And this is really the time to sit and process them. It's not a time to feel like it's time to move forward. I know most of us feel like we have plans right now and these plans are needing to be fulfilled and you're wanting to see traction on it, but it's still the time to kind of let the plans be and allow yourself to kind of ruminate over the past 11 months. And then once we hit this new Aries energy, that'll be in about a week and a half, the sun in Aries, we will start to be able to make traction and we'll start seeing that drive coming back and feeling like we're stagnant or slow pace in what we're trying to accomplish. So not much other than that. I know there's retrogrades coming towards the middle of April. So we'll definitely be speaking more to that as we get closer to those dates, but just allow yourself to process. And in the next week and a half, we're definitely going to see some traction and some new energy coming into our daily lives.
Cool. Thank you, Wayne. All right. So for those of you that are new to the show, let me put the banner up. All you got to do is type me in the comment sections. There it is. Just do me in the comment section so you can go next. And we alternate between Richard and I. And we already have some people holding. This is my sister. Thank you, sis. Yes. We'll have to jump on a Zoom call so I can show you my sister. So, yay. All right. I think I started last week. So do you want to start this week with Juan?
Sure. That sounds good.
And then Rosie, I will take you after that.
All right. I know I've read for you a couple times once, so let's see what we have for your energy today. All right. So I could say already, looks like one's definitely needing to take my astrology advice. It feels like things are moving slow. You're wanting a new fresh start, wanting new things to come through, but you're not really having the opportunity to make it happen. The card that's crossing you right now is the Fool, which is all about having those new beginnings. And then also, you now is represented by the Page of Swords. So that tells me that this is a thought-heavy time for you and a time for you to really pay attention to what you're thinking, inspired ideas coming through. But I would say you're definitely feeling that slowdown that we have right now with this Pisces energy. The theme for you right now is the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So I would say on top of that, it's also feeling like things aren't necessarily going your way. You're not necessarily able to make things happen, which I think definitely vibes with that astrology feel. However, it's important to note that recent past you have the Nine of Pentacles. So you're on a good foundation. You already are progressing forward. So I feel like there's not so much of a need to be able to provide for your needs to be able to move forward. So just allowing yourself to slow down because it's not the time for you to make anything happen immediately. You have the Magician reversed in your current influences. So it's definitely a time to recognize ideas are the space that you should continue to ruminate in, but trying to make anything happen immediately is not necessarily going to work well for you. There may potentially also be some type of mentorship and or assistance, financial assistance you've been looking to receive. And with that being reversed in your future influences, I would say it's likely that that's not going to come through. So if there was some type of assistance that you were looking to receive, most likely not going to be coming through. So important for you to plan alternate means, I would say. With that being said, what you're focused on right now is the path ahead, but you're definitely, again, struggling. I feel like there's that pause energy for you where you're ready to move forward. You want to move forward, but the timing is still not right. And the universe really is looking up for you in that sense. What the universe is giving you is kind of confusion. It's kind of wanting you to check the way that you've been thinking about yourself. And I would say this ties into kind of the astrological new year too. Really taking a look at what are the things that are unknown to you, or what are the things that you look at in your life and you're like, I don't understand how this works or why this keeps happening. This is the time to focus on those things specifically, because the universe is bringing forward all of the right situations for you to better understand the things that you're not necessarily seeing or acknowledging. But it's definitely going to take some work, and a little bit of emotional turmoil is going to come through with it. But if you really use this time over the next week and a half to think on what was successful for you over the last 11 months, what have you been challenged by, I think that you're going to start seeing a new path forward as soon as we hit this new Aries energy in a week and a half. All right.
Sorry. But the job of a producer, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, let me get everything coordinated.
So many hats.
And then I'm giddy today, so that's I added 2 bonus.
That's great.
I hope that makes sense for you, Juan. And everybody, remember, if you are able to tip or donate, we do accept tips. All you got to do is just down at the bottom, there's our Cash App and Venmo. And I promise you that I do share with Wayne when we're done. So I'm going to do Rosie, and then Charlie is after that with Wayne, and then Elizabeth, you'll be with me. So just hold on for a second. So Rosie, for you, let's start off with your yesterday. In your yesterday, there is it's all about your the balance. This is about your sacred chakras and your sexuality. And the sexuality card is about identifying yourself. It's about really focusing on who you are and who you want to be and who you want to become, and staying committed, because it's right here, and staying committed to that energy and trusting in yourself. Trust that you are the person that you want to be, and that you're on the right path to becoming who you want to become. I feel like we never finish growing, so you're still growing into who you really want to be. In your today, this is all about your heart chakra and about forgiveness. Forgive yourself. I feel like, to get in touch with who you really want to be, you've got to forgive yourself for the mistakes, the errors, the bad judgments that you did in the past. It's time to forgive that person that did that. You're a whole new different person now, and you've got to acknowledge her and give her permission to be who she wants to be. In your tomorrow, it's about letting go of the anger. Again, in your heart chakra, it's letting go of some of that anger that you have in your heart, that you haven't forgiven, in order to identify as who you want to be. Be the goddess you want to be. Nobody is stopping you but you. And in your spirit section, there's a lot of heart going on. There's a lot of heart things going on for you right now. In your spirit, it's about trusting yourself. It's in the trust. So interesting enough, it's forgive yourself, let go of the anger, and trust and believe in yourself. Your spirit wants to do it, so it's time for you to do it. In your heart space, your heart is looking for some stability, but that stability is going to come when you learn to identify, like when you learn to really be comfortable in your skin. And for everybody out there, and I'll raise my hand, because ever since my surgery, which was actually 7 years ago, I'm still working on that. But it's one of those moments where you want to be naked in front of the mirror by yourself and just look at yourself and thank your body for being present. Maybe it has a couple of pounds extra. Maybe there's a little extra roll that wasn't there 10 years ago. Maybe there's a couple of more like spots that you didn't see there a year ago. But you know what? Your body is carrying you. It wakes up in the morning. It does its job. Maybe there's a couple of bones that creak sometimes, but you got to thank your body for the job that it's doing. And that's going to allow you to forgive yourself a little more. And then finally, it's finding the motivation. And this is, again, in your solar plex. You've got to commit. Stop doing, okay, I hate the word stop, but I don't want to make you like stop. But I say this with love. The motivation to move forward in your life should be you. You should motivate yourself to do better. We should not be motivated. For instance, I should not be motivated to take care of myself so that Christian can love me more. I need to be motivated to do more for me so that I can love me more. And that's where things are going to change. So in order to tap into your sexuality, be comfortable with yourself, and find the stability that you want, you need to motivate yourself, trust in you, let go of the anger, and forgive yourself. And those are the steps that will allow you to get comfortable and be the person that you want to be. I hope that made sense. That makes sense? I hope that made sense. But
Absolutely.
But how many times, I mean, raise your hand if you're not. Put your hand down if you've never done it. How many times have we not done something for somebody else, like to seek approval, validation, uh, let them like me more. I want them to be my friends. So I'm going to spend more money than I have in order to buy the fancy shoes or whatever. Does that make sense? So
Is
it's
that
all
why you
about
got
you,
me those
Rosie.
shoes? I'm
Pardon?
just kidding. I
Say
said, is
what?
that why you got me those shoes?
That is why I wanted you to like me more. It didn't work, folks, but wah, wah, wah. All right, Rosie. And next is Charlie with Wayne, and then Elizabeth with me. And Stellar and Diana, stay tuned.
All right. So, Charlie, looks like right now there's a big focus on finances, career, material needs being met. We have you now. It's a theme card for tonight. This came up in the first reading that I did as well. The Six of Pentacles reversed. So, there's also some type of assistance, mentorship, could be money that you're looking to receive or have someone mentor you, but you may be feeling challenged by it at this time, especially because the card that's crossing you is the Five of Pentacles, which in a way typically represents some type of homelessness, going without, not having a home base. So there's definitely that sense that this could represent money for you, can represent career, but it also, even though it's not a cups card, it can represent emotionally too, feeling like you're out in the cold, out in the dark, and kind of off on your own. So it's important to acknowledge that you're not by yourself. You have a whole spiritual team supporting yourself, but you are going through a time of immense change. The theme for you is death reversed. And the fact that it's reversed in some cases would mean that it's more intense, but for you, I feel like there's a resistance of saying, no, I don't want things to change, and I refuse to acknowledge it. So it's important that you allow yourself to believe that this shift has occurred, and that there's not a way for you to continue living your life the way that you did before. There's been a marked change. With that recent past affecting your present, you have the Empress reversed, which again kind of doubles down on that energy of feeling like out in the cold, not having your needs being met, because the Empress typically does represent abundance, and it's abundance in all forms. Which this would also tell me that the abundance is possible for you, but there's a sense of rejection. And I think it's tied to that refusal to accept the change that has recently occurred due to the Death card. Current influences, you have the Two of Pentacles reversed. So I feel like even with the income that you have now, the way that you're making money coming in, you're still having challenges balancing that and having a consistent stream of income coming in. But I will say, moving forward, you do have a foundation that's being laid for you when it comes to career, finances, material needs being met. So it's important to acknowledge that. And even though I feel like this feels like a dark night of the soul for you, really this is going to have you come out stronger on the other end. You're just having to experience quite a lot that's tied between your emotions and your physical needs, and being able to provide both for you. And you are the one that can provide that for yourself. What you're focused on right now is judgments. So that would say there's a lot of self judgment occurring, judgment of others. The saying that comparison is the thief of joy feels appropriate for you right now. That, don't allow yourself to get too bogged down by what you see others people's when they're being successful, when they're having those challenges. It's hard sometimes. Our ego gets triggered in saying, I feel like I can deliver on that, and I'm still not having that come through. But that's not necessarily meant for you. It's important that you are following your own inspiration and following your own voice. I feel like it feels like out in the void for you. There's so many voices that feel similar to yours, but you have a unique voice. And I think it's important that you recognize that, and that voice is obviously your voice, and yours, it's important and should be important to you. And therefore, when you do speak, others will see that. But the advice from the tarot right now is it really does feel like a nightmare situation for you. So really understand and embrace it, and that there really is nowhere to go but up from here, so to speak. But it's important to acknowledge the reality of your situation, and don't let what the community, what the world at large has to say about you have any opinion on how you're feeling about yourself right now. What should be most important is how you're perceiving things, how you're feeling things, and acknowledging situations as they occurred. And being able to do that, you won't have to validate others to validate yourself, if that makes sense. So hopefully that was helpful.
Cool. Makes sense to me. So, and I know a little bit about Charlie, and I think some of those things are really going to hit home for him. So, Charlie, I hope that made sense to you. All right. So, I've got Elizabeth, and then Stellar, you're going to go with Wayne, Deanna with me, and Vanessa with Wayne. So everybody just hold on. So Elizabeth, for you, number one, and oh, there we are. Elizabeth, for you, in your yesterday, we're talking about your. This is about your brow. This is about your third eye and connecting to a higher power. This is the time for you to. I'm going to say this again with love. Let go of your ego. Let go of some of the control issues. Let go of some of that power that you want to or think you have over certain things. It's important to let it go and let the universe, the higher power, take care of it. In your because in your today, this is about we're talking about the truth. This is about your voice chakra and speaking your truth to you. I feel like some of the truths that you think that you're telling people because you've started to tell yourself, they're not so convincing. So let go of some of those that ego. Let go of it's going to be a theme tonight, but let go of some of that fear of letting people know who you really are. I don't want to say vulnerability because I feel like we still have a ways to get there. But and I say this because in your tomorrow, it's all about the protection, about protecting your heart and not letting people tap into your heart is what's causing you to make up this story around you. I'm not saying they're lies. I'm just feel like you're covering yourself in these truths, and I think like people can see through it. So I'm just gonna kind of let you know that your spirit is looking for the serenity, and this is again the solar plex. This is about connecting with you and believing in you. Believe that regardless of all these other things that you're trying to hide, you are so valuable and you're so wonderful. You've just got to believe that. Your heart is looking for that mental health, and that's why I was saying that your heart is being protected. It needs help. So I'm not a therapist. We're not therapists. We work energy, but to find somebody that you can actually talk to that will help you through the process. And then finally, it's all about staying grounded in your root chakra. Get grounded. Time to let go of some of those clouds and bring your feet back down to earth. So what it tells me is that tapping into your higher power and paying attention to your mental health is going to help you to stay grounded. Find the serenity you're looking for. Know that you're protected. And it's going to sound really corny, but the truth will set you free. Let go of those. There was something I was telling a client earlier today is that fear will lie to us in order to not move forward. And I don't know if that makes sense, but anytime we step into fear, it will tell us all these lies why we shouldn't move forward, why we shouldn't ask for help, why we shouldn't take care of ourselves. Does that make sense? So tap into you, believe in you, and you'll see people. And I don't know about you, Wayne, but there were many times in my life where I kept convincing myself that something was real. And I kept telling my friends, like, no, this is what's happening. And everybody around me would be like, girl, sure. You you keep saying that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to go with Stellar with Wayne and then Diana, Vanessa, and then Captain JT. You're after that.
Awesome. All right. So, Stellar, it looks like you are in a place right now where, starting out, your energy is the Nine of Cups reverse. So, the Nine of Cups is typically known as the genie card or the wish card. So, whatever it is that you're wanting, whatever it is that you're putting out into the universe, typically it's coming through. The fact that this is reverse would tell me that I would say you'd probably say yes. It feels like right now things are very synchronistic, and that the universe is definitely guiding you along, and you're feeling guided to that degree. However, when it actually comes to what's coming out and manifesting, besides getting those signs, it's not necessarily playing out in the way that you thought. So definitely something to acknowledge with that. The card that's crossing you is the Hierophant, which would tell me that there's some type of struggle you're having with viewing yourself versus the community, versus the world, versus groups that you find yourself in. But there's a challenge, and I feel like a difference of opinion in views that may be also making you challenge or question that group and your associations with that group. Also tied to this, the theme card for you, we have the Seven of Swords, which is also unofficially known as the Sneak. So I would say within that community, that feels like there's people sneaking around, talking about you, gossiping, and really all up in your business when they don't really need to be. I feel like part of that too is because you do make things seem like you're very fulfilled and self-fulfilled. So I feel like people, especially insecure people, like to talk when they're feeling threatened by someone who is actually in their joy and in their authentic self as well. So I feel like that's something for you that definitely occurs. Recent past affecting your present, you have the King of Swords. So I feel like in this situation specifically, you really had to be kind of a mastermind chess player and understanding how these people are speaking about you and really trying to figure out. I feel like there's been a sense of you trying to figure out who it is and who is it that's been starting this and who is really at the core of it. With that being said, I think that you already know. I also think that it's important that you acknowledge what they are taking from you. So being able to, when I feel like there's some type of, not confrontation, but you want to be able to say, yeah, I see you, I know you, and I know you're right. You're not going to get that from them. They're not going to be able to say, oh, yes, it was me. They won't let you see that side of them. So don't expect that part of it. But just the fact of you speaking your truth, I think is going to make waves. And I really feel like it's going to shift how you're being perceived by the rest of the group when when that actually does occur. With that being said, I think that I also want to acknowledge that your energy and your intention within this group is pure. You're there to celebrate. You're there to celebrate other people and just, I feel like, enjoy life and enjoy this focus that this group has around them. And the universe is bringing forward kind of the negative aspects, the negative emotional aspects of this experience for you to be able to say, no, enough. I feel like this is maybe an ongoing theme for you in your past that you really have had to work, learn, and grow from. But with that being said, I think that the universe right now is highlighting that negativity just so that way you can clear it out. If it wasn't rising up to the top in that way, I feel like you wouldn't necessarily acknowledge it. But in this way, it does need to be acknowledged. And I feel like the community agrees with you. And more so when you call out that truth with that authentic speak towards it, I think you're going to find nothing but support and potentially even a new friend. Well, I would say in that person, still, of course, being cautious and maybe keeping them at an arm's distance. But I feel like you are strong and correct in this situation. You're handling it in the best way possible, and don't be too hard on yourself.
Cool. I hope that made sense. I tell you, my brain is working like double time.
I'm still waking up from my nap. I need to stop the pre-Zodiac show nap because it's.
I woke up like 30 minutes right before the show just because I needed to finish other things. So I'm with you on the nap. But for those of you who don't live in Southern California, it's raining. Not really hard, but it's pretty dark and it's cold and it's perfect nap weather. So I don't blame you. I don't blame you. We did Diana already, didn't we?
No, I don't think so.
We didn't do Diana. Oh no, Diana, you're next. Sorry. Diana, you're next, and then Vanessa, Captain, hold on, you're next after that, and then Gabe will be after that. And let me read some of the comments, so we can move from the comments. Juan says, "Thank you." Okay, you saw the memo now because you said, "Never mind." I saw it. Yes, you saw it right there now. And then she said, "You're on target." Well, we love
Beautiful.
We love to hear that. So
glad to be of service.
All right. So Diana, Vanessa, Captain, and then Gabe. So everybody just hold on and we'll be back for you guys. So Diana Tovar, for you, let's start with yesterday. In your yesterday, it's all about your voice chakra. It's all about your voice and the intentions that you're putting in what you're saying. Again, we were talking just now about using our voice to speak our truth. For you, it's about being intentional with your voice. And what I mean that is like not being controlling or yelling at people, but what do you really mean? And standing by what you mean, first with you and then with other people. If you don't hold yourself accountable, then other people won't either. They'll know that you're faking it, for instance. And what's happening in the today is this is your connection in your crown chakra. Part of the reason I feel that your intentions are kind of off a little bit is because of the memories. The thing with memories is that they serve two functions. Number one, they can be really good to remind you where you came from so that you know where you want to go. The negative side of it is you hold on to these memories and they start pulling on the guilt trip. Memories have such a way of pulling those guilt strings, and that's when it gets really bad because that's when people can manipulate us and hurt us. Now you need to be a little more compassionate with yourself. Show a little more compassion. Your heart needs it right now. In your spirit, because your spirit is looking for a commitment. Your spirit wants you to commit to something. It's one of those things. I don't know if you heard the song. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And so it's important that your spirit wants to, like, it's kind of like challenging you. It's like, what do we believe in? Who do we believe in? What people, places, and things do we need in our lives? What's our personal goal? What's our professional goal? And your spirit is like, just pick something so we have something to focus on, so that now our throat chakra has an intention. Your spirit needs some clarity. So, I mean, your heart needs some clarity. So your spirit wants to commit to something, and your heart doesn't know what to believe because the intentions are in there and the memories take over at times. I hope that's making sense. And finally, what we need to work on is just your confidence. Just work on your confidence. And that comes, I believe that comes the more you use your words. Nobody likes an ultimatum. Nobody likes ultimatums, but sometimes we've got to hand them over. Just like, hey, this is my boundary. You cross it one more time, and I've got to cut you off. But if we keep pushing the line back, people won't take us serious. So what is it that you're doing that people are crossing that line? So what it tells me is, what are your intentions? Be clear about them. Say them with confidence. Commit to what you're saying, but show yourself some compassion and don't let the memories hurt you. Use the memories to propel you, not to hold you back. I hope that made sense. But as I was saying that, I feel like it's so true. People who have been in our lives for a long time, people who have been part of our journey or our timeline for a long time, people that know where the bodies are buried. Sometimes they, not us, but and unfortunately, sometimes those are family members, people that love us, will hold things from our past against us, and that's where the guilt trips come in. It's like, well, remember 20 years ago when I lent you $5 because you were hungry, and now you won't help me with $1,000? You're like, whoa, like, where's the logic in all this? I hope that
reverse interest.
right? But I mean, I'm sure you've had people that have done that to you.
Absolutely.
All right, Vanessa's next, then Captain, then Gabe.
All right, Vanessa. So it looks like right now, I'm just going to come out and say it looks like you're going through some pretty challenging situations. There's a definite karmic release happening for you, and I think it's definitely valid with us being in Pisces season. So if you didn't catch the start of the astrology, definitely go back and listen to what I had spoken to with it. Because right now you're really having to go off of your own truth. You have the lantern of truth in your hand that is your voice, and it's really about the hermit being, you're referencing yourself. You're going within to find the answers, and you're connecting with yourself to find those answers. So that definitely is a great space that you're coming in. And what I see around you is the Five of Wands, which is just chaos, non-stop battles, non-stop fighting. So I feel like there's maybe a family dynamic. community dynamic, work dynamic, but in a way, it feels like you're the sane one, and everyone else around you. It's not that they're crazy, but they just will not stop. They will not stop fighting. I feel like you definitely see and sense the egos in them, and to you, this is actually a trauma that you've experienced in your past that is coming forward for you to be able to really deal with it. I would say the energy that you're in right now was probably the energy that you grew up in. There's definitely that sense of that dynamic. So it makes me feel like maybe this is potentially more family focused for you. But it really is a core wound for you. So I feel like you need to give yourself a little bit more grace with it, because it feels like this is kind of the way that it's always been. So you feel like you should be better equipped to deal with it, but you've been doing the best that you can with it. So you can't let yourself be too harshly judged. And the acknowledgement part of it is the biggest piece, because if you can acknowledge where the problem is, then that's when the light can start coming in. That's when you can start being able to pull out the hurt out of that wound and have it transmuted, acknowledge it, and then be able to move forward unencumbered. But if you're not willing to acknowledge it, then you're not going to have that healing. So just recognizing what the actual issue is and how it causes you distress. And I think it's hard for you to say it too, because of how the people that are surrounding you, it feels like there is a strong importance that you have for them in your life. Recent past affecting your present, you have the Six of Wands reversed. So I even feel like a sense of you're kind of the cheerleader for your family, cheerleader for the group. And, it's kind of hard for you to cheer for the group right now. And the behavior that's kind of occurring. And I think this is your opportunity to be able to step up and be the voice of reason, when I feel like you always have, but you've always been diminished when you did speak out and diminished when you did speak your truth. And now this is the time for you to step forward and say, I'm not going to be quiet anymore. You're directly tied to the situation. You're directly related to it. And this is your opportunity to say, I no more will be quiet. I will now speak up and speak my truth about it. And maybe not everyone agrees, but at the end of the day, you're being a mentor to this group, to your family, to the people who are battling around you, and trying to provide them the information they need to be able to be successful and move forward, and not just be constantly battling, fighting all the time. With that being said, what you're focused on is the Knight of Cups reversed. So right now it feels like maybe there's some disappointment that you have in the actions and behaviors of others. And I feel like you're really taking that to heart and owning it yourself, when really that's not yours to own, which I think goes in with being able to acknowledge the situation as it actually is, and letting others that have ties in the relationship be able to handle their own energy and handle their own peace with it. Now, for you, what the universe is providing you is an opportunity for a choice, and being able to say, okay, you know what? This is the way that things have been. And I feel like this is you kind of learning to lay your foot down and say, this is the direction I'm heading. I'm going left at this fork in the road. That's the way I'm going to do it. You guys do whatever you want. You guys want to go right. You want to go whichever. But the universe is having this opportunity for you to dissent from the group, so that way it shows that you're willing to speak up, and that your authentic voice is what it needs to come through. And being able to do this, I think, is going to help release some old, long-held beliefs that are no longer serving you. And it's really going to help you in the outcome embrace your more masculine energy, your energy to go out and accomplish. Your ability to bring in abundance as well is directly impacted by the situation you're going through. So even though this is a very challenging situation, I know you have the tools to be successful. It's just a matter of moving forward and being able to speak up and speak things the way that you actually see them, not the way that others want you to see it.
Good stuff. I saw a question on here. Is this recorded? Yes. And thank you, Gabe, for answering that. Yes. Once the show is over, whatever channel you're watching on, which I forgot just beginning, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our page. But once you're done, this will stay in whatever channel you're watching on, so you can go back. And one of the reasons we use this particular, where is it? Next is going to be Captain, so I'm going to go to Captain. One of the reasons we're using this big pictures now is so that when you're scrolling through, you can actually find your picture and know that that is your reading. And so as soon as you're fast forwarding, because you don't want to hear all the other ones, I know I do it too. And you're like, oh, there's my picture. That's my reading. You go straight to your reading. And these stay up forever. So you can go to our YouTube page, which I suggest you do. Go to the YouTube page, subscribe, and you can go back and watch horoscopes. You can go back and watch previous shows. If you missed something from a couple of weeks ago, and you were like, oh, I can't remember what they told me. I think this is coming true now. Go back, check it out, and then let us know that we were right. So it's Captain, you're with me, and then Gabe, you're with Wayne, and then we have Joseph after that. So don't go anywhere, folks. So, Captain, it's so good to see you. By the way, I like your picture. That red looks really good on you. Just I'm just gonna put that out there. So for you, in your yesterday, it's all the reason this makes the reason this is good for you to have some clarity is because it's going to help you with your manifestations. Your manifestations for everybody, they come out of here, out of your third eye, your brow. So having the clarity for the things that you want in life is going to give you the ability to manifest what you really, really want. It's like, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. And then what it's going to do is give yourself some compassion. Like, I don't feel like you're harsh with yourself. I just feel like you don't need to be so tough with yourself. Um, just because, I'm not saying this out there, just because people in our lives, this could be siblings, parents, grandparents, uncles and aunts, just because they were not given the ability or that they didn't give themselves the permission to dream big doesn't mean that you don't either. So give yourself some little compassion and go for the big dreams that you want. Manifest the big things. Your spirit is about to reach some of the success, not the success, but some success in your life. Your spirit is reaching that level of success that you're looking for, that is going to bring you that level, that peace of mind that you want. Did you miss the first part? I'll go back to the first one. We'll connect it. Sorry about that. Your heart is looking for some goals to look at. So not only are we manifesting, but we also want some goals to go. Your heart is looking for a destination. So if you're single, we're starting to find our partner, and B, if you're in a relationship, it's time for a personal promotion. That means that wherever your relationship, it's about to go to a next level. And then what we need to work on is this came up earlier, sexuality, your identity. Who are you? Who you want to be? Like, what is your persona? Not, and I'm going to say this with love, not who you think the people around you want, not who you believe your partner wants. Who do you want to be? What is your personal identity? That's going to make a big difference. So, as you are finding your clarity and setting some goals, it's going to help you identify who you really are. You're going to reach the success you want, find the compassion you need, and be able to manifest all the wonderful things that you want. Um, we 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 tend to underplay our manifestations. I don't know if that happened to you when you first started, Wayne. That we would dummy down our goals and our dreams and what we wanted. I only believe that I could. This is an example. I only believe that I could make $10 an hour at a job when I could actually make 20, and but I would dummy myself down to not have expectations, to not be let down. But manifestations are meant to be big. Does that make sense to you? I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Absolutely, yeah. When it's, I think it's also it's the belief that drives it, right? So when you start out at a job, you're told this is what you're worth, this is all you're going to be able to make, but you do have skills potentially that you want to bring forward too. So sometimes it's hard to actually see what your value is until you're challenged and until you feel like, no, I've done this for a while and I should be making $20 an hour, not just 10. It's when you start being able to better see the situation as it is, I feel like it makes it easier to manifest what you're looking for because you're not getting in the way. The ego is not getting in the way.
And showing ourselves compassion sometimes means dreaming bigger, setting bigger goals. So we'll do that. All right. Charlie said, thank you. Stella said, thank you so much. We talked about the recorded. You're with Gabe. I am with Joseph. People, please, and folks, please ignore the hacker that came on. I'm gonna go back and delete while Wayne is reading. So you are going, and you know what? I just realized you've had Gabe several times, which is actually cool because it's this consistency with our
Hmm.
audience. So I'll let you go over there.
The universe lines them up the right way. All right, Gabe. So it was interesting. I pulled your cards, kind of had to sit and look at it for a minute to really get a gist of what's going on. And really, what I feel for you right now, you're in a period of you are being super harsh on yourself, super hard. And you're surrounded by a community, I feel like your partner, family, friends, close people, people who really know you at your core. And they're telling you, dude, you're being so hard on yourself. You are one that I know has probably had quite a few challenges. I feel like a couple dark nights of the soul, and it's brought you to the person that you are today. But it definitely feels like there's a karmic release for you, but it's more so about letting yourself have the credit for the things that you do, because the people that love you are celebrating you and you deserve to be celebrated. So it's time to let yourself do that, because I feel like, especially, and I know with me, it always tends to go back towards wounds. Typically, those wounds are when we were growing up. So I would say there was a sense of probably when you were growing up, not being boastful and not being, look at all these things that I'm doing. I think you were probably spoken down to or diminished anytime that you spoke more positively about yourself or were trying to celebrate things within yourself. So I think that made you kind of mute that for yourself. And I think that it's kind of stunted your self-value to a degree, because I think you recognize what you bring to the table, but you still battle with this kind of ongoing over time. So what the universe is putting you through right now in your current situation is they're trying to get you to see yourself from a different perspective, and maybe see yourself through the eyes of those people that love you, the ones that have known you for a very long time, the ones that have seen you through those dark nights of the soul and seen those shifts in you as you've gone through each of those. But it's definitely at hand for you. And there's an opportunity, recent past affecting your present. You have the Queen of Swords. So there's definitely some sharp thoughts that you have about yourself. You recognize your intelligence, but you're also, again, not really feeling comfortable speaking about your success and the things that you do. And you really have built quite a great success with you, with what you've manifested so far, with what you put your focus on a daily basis. You really have, and it's a matter of what's coming in. I feel like there's a sense of that unworthiness that you have within yourself of not being able to speak up and celebrate yourself vocally, be your own cheerleader. It's in a way, it's funny with what Daniel was just speaking about. It's kind of causing your manifestation to not come through as abundant for you, because your mind is only allowing yourself, well, I'm only allowed to have this much because this is only how good I am, or this is how strong I am, or this is how supportive I am. And you're putting that cap on it, which is putting a cap on what's able to come in for you. And the universe wants to give you everything, but you have to be able to know that that you can receive it and that you're worthy of receiving it, and you are, if only looking at the people who surround you. What you're focused on right now is the Ten of Cups, which is all about from emotional fulfillment. You've come to a really better understanding of yourself and your relationships. So I feel like this is also telling you that the people that you trust, that you've surrounded yourself with, the ones that are celebrating you, aren't going to lie to you and say, oh, you're great, you're wonderful, unless you actually are. And what the universe is highlighting for you is the Two of Cups reversed. So it's highlighting the negative parts of relationships that you've had, the negative communications, maybe challenging relationships that you've had in the past, or what's coming up for you right now. But the universe is doing that to finally clear out the last bits of this. So that way it's not something that's going to resonate with you anymore going forward, that you're going to be happy to sing your own praises, because it doesn't come from an ego-driven place. And it comes from a place of knowing that I'm able to support those that I love and myself. You have the strength to do it. The hard part for you, the outcome that you have is, and we've had this card come up a few times today, so kind of a running theme, it's the Hermit reverse. So this tells me that you don't often allow yourself to celebrate the sage that you are and the wisdom that you have. I feel like I know, because I've seen so many of Daniel's shows where you've been on as, and you have a great wit and a great sense of humor. And I feel like that was kind of a protection that you built around yourself so that you could still make people laugh. And that was a way of them kind of celebrating you and patting yourself on the back because you made them laugh without feeling like you had to say, isn't that great? I was so great. So definitely an opportunity for you to understand yourself better, value yourself more, and trust that the people that are surrounding you and telling you that you're wonderful actually know that you are wonderful and you are wonderful. So there you go.
Well, I would never say that, but I guess some people would say that about him. um, Gabe, I hope that made sense. We had some other comments. Yes, we had several spammers today, and it just I was told,
Flattering.
huh?
It's flattering.
Yeah, I was told a long time ago. It's like when people start spamming you, it's because you're doing a good job. So we're doing a good job. Uh, Captain said, "Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Every show I watch, so appreciate your time. We appreciate you too. Thank you." Um, and for everybody, again, remember if I added the PayPal and Zelle because somebody messaged me about that. Yes, if you can tip or donate on Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle, we do accept tips. You folks can actually buy us dinner for tonight, so that's always appreciated. All right, so I'm going to do Joseph, and then I think that's the last person on the list for tonight. For Joseph, how you doing, Joseph? Good to see you again. For you, Papa, number one, starting in your yesterday, it's all about the power coming back into your life, and again, I feel like the theme this today on my side has been your solar plexus for everybody. It's about committing to ourselves. It's about connecting to ourselves. The reason I feel like you are connecting with yourself and finding your power is because you're finally understanding your value. That's the crown chakra. You're understanding your personal value, and that gives you the power that you need. Where does this come from? In your tomorrow, from wisdom. From the times that I've worked with you, it's all about the repeat, rinse. Where is it? Rinse, wash, repeat. Rinse, wash, repeat, and it never gets clean. So it's time to use something different. So it's about all these people that keep coming into your life and doing the same things over and over again. It's time to change the people, Papa. You can't expect anything to change if we keep bringing the same elements into our lives. Now, why? Because your spirit is looking for serenity. And this card came up earlier too. We all want serenity in our life. Let me tell you this: as much work as a relationship is, it should not be hard. It should not be that tough to love somebody or to be loved. And if you are more overwhelmed than you are serene in a relationship, we have to evaluate the relationship. I say this with complete love. And why? Because your heart is looking to tap into those emotions. Again, it's all about the sacral. And because you have that power in yourself, it's starting to let you know it's like, hey, maybe feeling stressed out when I'm coming home to my relationship is not a good thing. Or when I think about that person, if I get if I get my stomach curls, maybe it's not a good relationship. We should be feeling bubbles and butterflies, not diarrhea and constipation. So just think about that, folks. You're not seeing Wayne's face on camera, but and how is this all going to change? It's by using your imagination. Um, create, imagine the world, and this goes for everybody watching. Imagine the world that you want to live in, people, places, and things. And then from there, you can start manifesting what you want. Does that make sense? So first, I want to imagine what would make me the happiest. How does it look? And then you can start manifesting. So the power that you're finding now is allowing you to tap into your emotions and imagine the world that you want, where it's serene. And this is going to be done with your wisdom and understanding yourself. But having power in your yesterday is so far from. I remember one of the first readings I did for you that it was always, and they're recorded, but it was always like this stress that was part of your life and trying to connect to yourself. So for you, Joseph, to now be in a powerful position, that is huge. So congratulations for that. I hope that made sense. I think that's it. For everybody watching, we still have about 7 minutes. But if you came in late, I want to tell you that I am uber excited because my cards are out. Here they are. My cards are out for everybody that's been part of this journey with me and has sat with me. I know a lot of you out there I did sessions for, and we kind of like tried it out. Well, they're here now. This is the alignment deck, which is the deck that I've been using tonight. Here it is in the back, the alignment. And here it is, all the colors. And it's Little Mexican Productions right there at the bottom, which, thank you, Vanna. I'm going to premiere them officially at the National Latinx Conference on HIV, HPV, and Hep C in May in New Orleans. And I just thought about this. What a wonderful place to debut my spiritual cards in New Orleans. Like, that is pretty cool. If I say
Super cool.
pretty cool. So they're here, and I could not be more excited. And it's about 7 years of work. Finally, so I'm not gonna cry. So y'all stop it. I'm not gonna cry. I did earlier. I did earlier though. But so what's going on? Oh, I have the picture. Wayne is working now. So
Yes. So I had my. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, so I started this last week at Awakenings Metaphysical Bookstore in Laguna Hills. So I have my regular shifts. I'm there Mondays and Fridays from 11 to 2:30. So you can always call in if you're looking to get a reading during those times. You can either come into the shop, I am there in person, or you can phone in. Or if you're looking for another time, date that you're wanting to get a reading, I also schedule one-on-ones, usually via video, and you can book that on my website. It's rwk2.com, rwk2, the number 2.com, and you're able to go in. It actually has my schedule plugged in, so you'll be able to select a time, and you can book anywhere from basically 15-minute increments. I do tarot readings, which is obviously what you see here, but also I do energy work. So if you're looking to do a long distance aura cleansing, aura chakra cleansing, home clearing, I also do that as well. But you can find all of that on my website, rwk2.com, including my schedule for awakenings is there too. So it's been exciting. I'm glad to have this new kind of community surrounding me and getting to meet all the new, well, I'm the new one, but all the other readers there, and definitely going to start taking some classes there too. So I was going to extend the range to Daniel too. So maybe sometime he'll come out and we could take couple classes there and have a kind of light night reunion of sorts.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. Let me get, I left Joseph up there. To get Joseph up. Yeah. How was your first day? How did you feel? What?
It was good. Well, so I had Monday and I was there, didn't get any walk-ins, and I could kind of feel it was more so me just getting the vibe for the building, what it's going to be like being there during my time. And then today I had offered for the retail associate that's there on the day that I'm there. I'm sure she's there a lot. But for Fridays, I had offered to her, I said, hey, I would like to do a reading for you, just so that way you can speak to, of course, for you, yes. And then also when people call in for either phone in or walk in to do readings, you're able to speak to your experience with me. So I ended up doing a reading for her. It was probably about an hour. I feel like I did a reading. And as soon as she was done and stepped out the door, they said, oh, we have a phone in reading for you. So I had my first phone-in reading, and it felt so appropriate because as soon as I raised the energy to be able to do the session, it was like spirit answered, and I got my first one. So I can officially say I'm making money there now and able to feel like I'm diving deep with building my client base and feeling like it. Of course. Along with this, I've always said, I don't know if I've told you, I've told Daniel this story before, but the very first time I got a reading from a psychic intuitive, she was definitely intuitive. However, at the end of my reading that I paid for, I think I paid like $150 for a 30-minute reading. She did the reading, and then at the end of it, she said, okay, so I see that there's darkness in your aura from your childhood, and the person that you're interested in is on the verge of committing suicide. I can fix these two things for you, but it's going to be $450. So of course, because they had said validated things about my past, said things about my future that have also been validated by other readers. So there's certain things that are a common theme for me. I went across the street and I pulled the money out and I did it, and I did feel a difference in my aura. I could feel a difference in my energy field, and I feel like that situation was resolved. But I recognize that everyone has the ability to be intuitive. Some people hone their gifts, some people hone their talents, some people use it without realizing that they do. But I realized, especially when it comes to intuitives, psychics, that you always have to be wary. I think everyone is to a degree. But I recognized with this one specifically that her first intent with her intuition was to make money. And so, with that being said, anything that comes through is going to come through with the intention of making her more money. She's going to use that information to make that money. And then, second, she may or may not have the want of being able to help the person that she's reading as well. So, for me, it really became a lesson of when I read for people, my first intent is always for that person's highest good. And the second part of it is there is an energy exchange, obviously, that happens. And so there needs to be some type of compensation and balance for that. So that's why being able to accept money for doing readings, I think, is not only good, but appropriate to do, because it is a service, even if it doesn't look like we're doing that much with it. So my long-winded answer is basically, even though we do this and we do make money off of using our intuition, I think it's really important that we're always checking in with what is the intention, because however we intend something to happen, that's how the energy comes through. So if I'm just intending to make money, then yeah, I'll probably make money, but I'm doing it in a way that is not honoring being able to bring in those abilities. So at the end of the day, I love it because it's a fulfilling. I love being able to help people, reveal things that maybe they're not realizing or acknowledging, and helping them to move forward in a more positive light. So I'm excited that this is kind of going to help me extend my reach, so to speak, and continue to hone my craft as well.
That was one of the first things that my teacher taught me. She was like, the money will come, but the gift isn't yours. It's yours to share. And for every person that you can give a reading to, there'll be somebody else who will pay for it. And just trust in that. And I mean, it's gotten me where I am today. So good for you. I want to send out a thank you to Gloria and Diana for your donation. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys.
We appreciate it. For now, I want to say good night. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please share this on your page for everybody watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Would you mind sharing it so that other people can watch it? And if you're watching us on YouTube, please scroll down, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell. It'll let you know every time there's something new on the air. We've got shows almost every day of the week, along with the horoscopes every Monday. So make sure you check this out. Remember, if you want a more one-on-one with either one of us, you can either now visit Wayne at Awakenings, or you can check him out, go to his Instagram page right there and direct message him for an appointment, or you can direct message me right there also at Instagram or on whatever page you're watching on for a private session. We both offer more than just the card readings, so there's more to it if you want. By the way, let me just plug, Wayne does amazing astrology charts, so definitely go with that. And then on my side, it's spiritual life coaching. So if you're looking for a life coach with spiritual touch, we've got 1 sessions, and we've got packages of 8 sessions. And if you come directly from here, I will give you an additional discount. So make sure you do that. So for now, thank you, Wayne. Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
We will see you folks next week. Bye.